workplace, family, spirituality, cheating, and of course, sex. Monday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, the show is simulcast in the virtual world of Second Life, which individuals all over the world meet together with our web listeners to tackle challenging relationship questions. And now here are your hosts of the Mars Venus Show, Terrane, Lynn, and Kinte.
Hello, and welcome to an all-new episode of Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus Show. I am one of your hosts, Kinte, all the way live from Los Angeles, California. And I'm so happy to be here with you on this finale episode of Mars Venus. We will be gone after tonight until 2016, and we wanted to close out with a bang. And I think we have yet again another great topic for you guys tonight. Of course, we always love participation, and there's many ways that you guys can participate. One way you can participate is you can come to our website. That is needed.Radio.org. That's needed.Radio.org. Another way you can participate is you can call in. The number is 323-522-4601. Once again, that's 323-522-4601. And another way you can participate as well is you can come to blab.im and you can see us on video as well as audio. So my co-host isn't here at the moment, so hopefully she'll join us a little bit later. But I want to introduce my panel, and we always like to start off with the ladies. So welcome back to the show, Goddess Charmaine. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back. Goddess blessings.
Yes, and thank you so much for doing this again. We enjoyed you so much the first time you came onto the show, and we're looking forward to getting some more good information from you.
Thank you.
Now, give us a little background into you, and also give everybody your social media and websites and all that good stuff.
Okay, well, I'm Reverend Goddess Charmaine, the sensuous mystic, and I unite sex and spirit, and I believe that our sexual energy is our life force energy. I am an ordained interfaith minister, and I study and practice shamanism. I was trained in crystal Reiki, Reiki master, hypnosis, tantra. And I make miracles happen with my pussy in many ways through the way I do my rituals, the groups that I teach, and my ongoing second Sunday services and ongoing clothing optional naked church services. I have 2 books out, The Sensuous Mystic, which are actual case studies of people I worked with in my private practice that I have for 20 years. And my second book is The Goddess Scrolls, Sacred Erotic Tales. Those are actual rituals that I did. Part of my full moon ritual in honoring the goddess and the goddess in me was sex magic. And each story in that book is based off of some truth, something I experienced or witnessed. Then I blow it up into a fantasy. So the reader gets really aroused and turned on so they can see themselves in the story and feel it. And that I call it my erotic Bible. And you can get both of those books on Amazon. And so I love my life. I've been blessed. It really took a lot of courage to step into this path. I am a nudist. I'm goddess. So in the way it all kind of created itself is through my Trinity, what I call I am Reverend Goddess, Mother Goddess, Ghetto Goddess, but always Goddess. And I'm just happy that, I have an eclectic of friends and straight friends, I call them, in that world. And then our sacred sex community friends. And I have my websites, but my main website now is thesensuousmystic.com. I'm all over Facebook, and my married names, Goddess name, my public page, The Sensuous Mystic, Goddess Scrolls. I'm on Instagram, Periscope now, Twitter. You can sign up to be on my email blast through thesensuousmystic.com and find out about all the events that are always going on. And I'm going to be doing more online and women-only groups starting next year. Really happy about that. But my, co-ed groups and everything still happens with Naked Church. I don't know. I can go on and on and on. How much of me do you want to know about? Shoot.
No, thank you.
Okay.
All right. A minute. I'll be back. on as well. But so we're gonna go through the calls, and I'm gonna go to a new person on the show, and it's the one and only MrMajic. How are you doing, MrMajic?
Hey, I'm blessed by the best, and too sexy to be stressed, and worth my weight in flawless diamonds. How can I be an usher in your naked church?
You can just come on over to Naked Church. All you have to do is carry me in. We good.
Oh my goodness! From the front or the back? Which one?
Both. That's how you lift me up. Just lift me up. I love being carried. Just lift me up. Work it out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now we are getting a little echo. I believe it's coming. Let's see who it's coming from. Wait, talk again, MrMajic.
Check. Yeah, I hear echo. Not anymore though. I'm good. No echo. No more. Okay, so it must be you, Charmaine. Wait, talk, Charmaine.
Oh, this is Reverend Goddess Charmaine, the sensuous mystic.
Okay, I don't think it's wait. That's strange. Okay. All right. Also joining us on the show is you can't see him. He called in. It is Terrane Hicks. How are you doing, Terrane? Terrane? We're having technical difficulties with Terrane. Welcome back, Jade. How are you doing, Jade?
Hello. Can y'all hear me?
We can.
Yay.
Give us a little background about you, Jade.
So I'm a love coach certified, and I do also I'm becoming certified in being a practitioner, womb healing practitioner, because I love just discussing and talking about sex magic and womb healing and all that good stuff. So why not be certified in it, correct? So I do educate on sex magic. I'm also a relationship specialist, and I have my own adult pleasure party business as well. And I'm getting ready to open up a womb healing clinic. And hopefully, Reverend Goddess is getting ready to do initiation soon. So hopefully I will be getting my certification in that as well. So I'm just building my resume and just having fun in this juicy loving that I'm sharing.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amen.
Now, this is our second episode on this topic, but I wanted to go back over some previous material because it's a new venue that we're doing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to start off with a definition. A lot of people, when you throw out the term sex magic, they have a lot of preconceived notions on what they believe sex magic is. So I wanted to throw it out to, we'll go with you, MrMajic. What is your definition for sex magic?
Basically, just it's manifesting through orgasm. It's really it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I love it.
So how does one get to a point where they can manifest through orgasm?
First of all, you have to set the intention. You have to set the intention, and for what I found, for what I found and through my studies is that one person has to start with their intention, and each party work on that one person's intention in order to make it manifest. But it does start with setting the intention first.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, from a female's point of view, we'll start off with you, Goddess. How do you know when someone is legitimately want to be involved in sex magic, or is just in it for what they perceive as the fun part, the sex part? They actually believe in it.
Yeah, most men that I really don't let anyone do sex magic with me unless I kind of get to know them. So I've only done sex magic with probably less than 5 men. I do a lot of group rituals, and I have expressed my sexual energy with the group to raise their vibration. But it was when I was dating, and it was 8 months into the relationship before I invited him to do a sex ritual with me. And I told him, don't do the sex ritual with me because I'm about ready to kick you to the curb and you just want to keep the pussy going. So you're saying yes to the ritual because you don't want to play with that. But I figured, let's see if he can really bring it. And he said, no, I really want to do this. I want to learn more. And we did the sex ritual and the relationship ended. And because once you come into bringing sex and magic, what's happening is I'm the only one that calls when we do a sex magic ritual, even in my own relationship with my husband. I'll say, we're going to do a ritual this full moon or this new moon, whatever it is. But I will ask him, depending on the moon cycle or the sign that we're in, then I'll say to him, but can you set the intention? He's very, very strong in doing that. But I'm always the one to call when the ritual is going to happen. And we respect that because in our relationship, I hold primary the spiritual frequency in the household and in the couple's vibration. So any relationship I'm in, I'm the one that's guiding when the magic is going to happen. But I will allow my husband, and he's the only one I've allowed to set the intention. Normally, I even bring the intention in with other people. Since we're together, we've done so much together. He's very strong in setting the intention and having that really ready for me so we can really build the intensity, which is what magic happens through intensity and frequency. So when we're bringing the play and the rituals, that's when you really intensify your intention. And then when you get into your sex, you're raising the vibration of that intensity so you can expand it out in your energy field. And then when you have the orgasm, you have the orgasmic bubble. And then that's where your miracles happen. So who I share that with, believe me, if I have a man that is really passionate and very, very turned on by me, and I can sense that his intention with me, maybe, I want to fuck the hell out of her, but he also respects me, I could use that. You don't have to know everything I know. You know when someone is trying to take your energy, heal your sex, or if they want to give and share pleasure. And then I can discern that. I have the spirit of discernment is high for all of us that are doing this kind of work.
Mm-hmm. Can anybody practice it, or do you have to be, you have to be on some kind of frequency? Like how do you determine who needs?
You have to be on a frequency because that's how everyone is already talking about it. So everybody's already getting on that frequency. No one is going to find out about sex magic unless they're already on the frequency.
Right.
The ability to manifest comes with the intensity and vibration that you're holding, and the longer you can hold it. And I have developed myself for years. And sometimes when you may be doing sex magic for 2 years, once a week or once a month, and not really seeing much happen except for your physical well-being and ability. And then all of a sudden, you yourself into your life, and everything else starts materially manifesting. You're like, whoa, and it seems like overnight to everybody, but you've been doing the work. So as you start talking about sex magic, you are already raising your frequency and there. How people do their rituals is different for everyone.
Now you started to say something, MrMajic?
No, go ahead, brother. What did you ask me, Kente?
No, you started to say something when she was talking.
You're agreeing with me, I think.
I was maybe my vibration said something. That's what you heard.
Okay.
I'm vibrating over here.
I'm gonna ask you guys individually. How did you guys first learn about it? I'm gonna start off with you, bro.
I first heard of sex magic through one of my brothers from another Coach Kair, and we were talking about it. I was like, sex magic, what is that? So as he started, putting me up on it a little bit more, then I researched it, talked to other people about it, and stuff like that. So that's how I got introduced to it.
Oh, okay. All right. What about you, Jade?
I was performing it.
Uh-oh.
My husband and I. Can you not hear me? Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Oh, okay.
That was my fault.
Okay. My husband and I were performing it, and I didn't know that it was called sex magic. So so we were practicing it. And then I learned a little bit about Tantra, and I started to dig a little deeper within Tantra. And then when I heard the word sex magic, it really intrigued me, because I was already doing rituals and doing things that people use the terms magic. So I'm like, sex magic, and I started to really dig deep into what that was, and then was just shocked to learn that I was already, me and my husband was already doing sex magic in a sense. So yeah.
You got it.
I started studying Tantra just as by reading Margot Anand's book called The Art of Sexual Ecstasy. And then just the way to be in alignment, I started looking for a job in Manhattan because everything was falling apart for me in New Jersey. So when I crossed over to the water, I actually interviewed to become a surrogate in a sexual healing center. And I became a sexual surrogate. I worked there for 2.5 years. And in 3 years of working there, our center became alternative. And then I got an opportunity to actually work physically with Margot Anand in New York and California, and our whole staff became an alternative. And when we started doing that, we started collecting books, sacred sexuality, so many different kinds of books on Tantra and sex and sacred sexuality. And I read this book that taught me about sex magic. And I started practicing with my boyfriend at the time. And it's just, and I learned, I'm meant to do this, and I've been doing this, and I've done it in past lives. So it just absorbed right in me. It just resonated, and I just started doing all kinds of things on my own. And then my relationship, and it just keeps going. And I kept a book that I write down my rituals. Well, you see, even my Goddess Scrolls is an example of the rituals that I've been doing for years. Anyway, this book, my website, sensuousmystic.com, if you go on there, you'll still see some of my erotic tales, and those are all rituals. But I began from as a sexual surrogate and evolved into actually working with surrogates, and then went into Tantra, and everything just exploded from there. And I'm just so happy. I can't tell you how many things have changed in my life because of sex magic. My money, my relationships, my strength, my power. With it. If you know, like I know, you will just start masturbating right now to get your bubble going while we're even talking about this. So much you just go there. I'm telling you, it's true.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I'm vibrationally masturbating right now, God.
Yes. Yes, saved my life for sure.
Absolutely. I love it.
Can you be a Christian and practice sex magic? Because I know a lot of people think that it's
you can be any religion and practice. It's to the belief system, and you have a lot of people that are stuck within their religion and feel like, oh, I can't do this. If they hear the word magic whatsoever, they demonize it. They think it's demonic. So it's really hard to get the religious population or a lot of people really getting into it. But here's what I found when I coach people on it. You have to watch that word magic. So if you watch using that word and you just coach people into doing it and just becoming in alignment, because basically you're coming in alignment with the universe, then they'll be more open to doing it. It's when you use that term, word magic, that a lot of people become skittish or fearful of the unknown.
I try to also invite people to understand that everyone's doing sex magic when they're married. And they're intending to be healthy and love each other, and it's sex magic. Just no one knows how to use the tools. So it really isn't about, it's not about what religion you're in, but fundamental religion will stop a person from growing, even sexually. And but I agree.
Absolutely.
Come to me on the sidebar and ask me questions about things they can do in their relationship sexually. And meditating together, merging. I teach all my girlfriends. Listen, girlfriends don't be yelling. I mean, I didn't say you taught me that, but a lot of my girlfriends a lot of things, and I tell them, and they be like, "Yo, thank you." My husband said, "Thank you for that trick and that tip and that magic and that ritual." So women and men do want to know what to do with themselves sexually and how to bless themselves.
Yes, they do.
And also just to piggyback off of what Goddess Charmaine said, when you say to people you're already performing sex magic, you got to think about it. We talk, and me and Reverend Goddess has dug deep in this in my show. We talk about sex and love altars. Your bed is your altar. So if you want to dig deep, that is your altar. That's where you are having sex magic. You are performing it, whether you know it or not, whether you realize it or not. So why not dig deeper and really be able to manifest those desires that you want? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And the one thing I found is that once you set the intention with your partner, and you just stick to that intention and constantly work on it and talk about it as you are both lining up the vibration and raising it through orgasm, and just letting go of those inhibitions, as you say, in the altar room. We don't want to just be just tight and let it go and embrace it and just go with the orgasm. I call it ride the wave, because once you ride the proverbial orgasm tidal wave, it'll take you around the whole planets and universe.
And let go of the clutter too. Let me just say that, because how many times have we had sex? We're thinking about our bills. We're thinking about it's that clutter that you're thinking about, and you're trying to get into the sex act. But you're so busy thinking about these things that you were worrying about before you walked into the bedroom. So that's another thing, because actually, as the brother just said, you're actually manifesting those things. So that's something also to think about.
Yes. Yeah. You know what? That is so key. The mental focus during sex, letting it go. Like, so what, you worried about your phone getting cut off or whatever. When it comes to the wonderful act of sexual healing, it's about letting go all of that and letting the trueness of it all, embracing it and come to you. So big cheers to all the goddesses in here for that one. Cheers. Come on, goddess. Cheers. There you go.
Let's talk about
is that a bottle of water, KK? No, I'm just messing with you. I
gotta be right doing the interview.
Kente, down south, when we have plastic cups like that, it may contain some moonshine. I'm just saying. I mean, I know y'all don't do that.
There you go.
No, this is H2O. This is H2O in the But, let's talk about the origins and the roots of sex magic, because this goes back long time ago, back in the ancient times. Does anybody want to speak on the roots of sex magic and the idea of?
Now I want to just go over this a little bit, because when we had talked about this on my show, we connected with Kente, people say sex magic is rooted in the so-called occult.
Right.
But people say that it's rooted in that, whether you have Wiccans or whatever. And a lot of times when you Google sex magic, when they put the K on the end, you see come up with occult, Wiccans and stuff like that. But really, it's about, from what I've understood, and Goddess, you see if I'm right about this. At that moment of orgasm, as the orgasm is coming about, that you what your intention is about what you want to manifest, and that's how it starts. Am I correct, Goddess, on saying that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. When you're having the orgasm, and I call it orgasm ejaculation, because men have orgasm and ejaculate, and women have orgasm. And so that's because of the intensification. That's the fluids and intensification and all the heat and the swelling of the loins and the dripping of the fluids and everything. You need all that. And especially you need the spit from the woman's mouth. And so, I mean, my origins of studying sex magic comes from the temples in India and the temples all over the world, the goddess temples, and all kinds of stories of men in war going to the goddess temple to be cleansed of war before they would go back to their families. African, Indian, all over the world, I've found so many different stories about sacred sex, about the goddess, but all around what we do with our pussies, sex magic. And so, you know, and then we can go all the way back to the first woman, you know. So time and date is that's timeless, you know. Where we all come from, our root is what we really identify with energetically or physically, or you know, race. You know, I know a lot of people that really stick to, you know, African origins of sex magic, and I tend to find myself in every place I go because I am a universalist. And so I have found a lot of, I resonate a lot with what I've heard about the temples in India. And then I resonate a lot with the occult, or being in the woods naked, running around doing sex magic and healing people through forced sex and things like that. I mean, if you're into past lives too, I've gotten information through the kind of sex magic and where I learned it as a young person from my elders around a campfire. I mean, it sounds wild to a lot of people, but I've gotten a lot of information through my dream time and speaking contemplation after I do my own sex magic ritual of where I actually learned it, not even in this lifetime and in this body. So I really think that we need to look at what is really right and how we're actually, because where we're coming from, what we're rooted from is how the origins of sex magic for us. And then we can actually access all that information. And I'm so happy to talk about as an African woman, as a Black woman, I have a lot of power that comes to me through that energy. And I also, there was a lot of, I'm just going to say it. Now, y'all going to yell at me for a minute, okay? But I really think about slavery times and how we got through that. And maybe people don't realize that how we survived all that came through the woman and her own pussy power, because there was a lot of rape going on, but there was also a lot of power happening with the women surviving those times because they knew how powerful their body was, and they were taking a lot of the sin of what was happening through their own bodies for the Black men and what the white man master was doing to us. So I do a lot of work around cleansing rape, slavery time, and bondage through sex magic, because there was a lot of magic going on with the women that were enslaved, and they were taking on the karma or the sin for everybody at the time. Black women. Right. So there was a lot of power in Black women and the sex magic we do now when we understand how powerful we are. Black women especially have to understand that, because we are dealing with breaking curses from so many thousands of years. But dealing specifically with slavery time, there was a lot of power going on with the women that were surviving what was happening to us. So when I think about it, I do think about myself as a Black woman in that time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's
absolutely. Especially with the men that they married and they were allowed to marry and be with. Yeah. Or even if they were secretly with them, they were. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
And a lot of people have a hard time hearing that how can we be empowered during slavery, Black women? But we were, because there was a lot that was happening. And how could a race survive all of that if it wasn't for what the woman was carrying on in her body and on her back?
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well,
now,
I think that's
you're sideways, by the way. I don't know if you.
Yeah. I did realize I was out.
I'm like.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. I apologize. You know what I'm saying for that. I had to put it down for a second. Thank you for that orientation warning, Kente.
All right, Jay.
I was gonna say something, but I was just like, it's not the alcohol, because everybody else is straight.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Well, you acting up, Jay.
But no, what I was going to touch on is I do agree with Reverend Goddess Charmaine, because if you want to dig deep when it comes to the religion aspect of it with the slavery and different things, people are not looking back at their history and looking at what the master told us we had to do back in slavery as far as our religion and how we were following that. And we started to lose the history on our true religion and what we used to practice and how we utilize those herbs and those candles and those oils and different things like that to help us manifest, to encourage us to manifest those things. So it's lost, and people need to kind of just go and dig a little deeper. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that because I agree with Reverend Goddess, and I don't know what just happened or what that noise was. But
and that was a caller. That was
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You got the hotline bling over there, Kente.
Yeah, right. Let me just remind people, you can call in. The number is 323-522-4601. Once again, that number is 323-522-4601. All right. How you doing, Lauren? Now, how much of it is being in tune with your own body? Really understanding your body, what brings you pleasure. Also, how you can give pleasure as well.
Me personally, I would say 100%, 10 out of 10, because the thing is, if you aren't physically, if you aren't emotionally connected to your heart, to yourself, then how can you expect someone else to do that for you? You know what I mean? Like attracts like. So it's all about working on self first. I know for me, in order for me to manifest and attract great things in my life, far as money, women, sex, whatever, I had to get clear about me first. You know what I mean? And once I became clear about me first, then and only then was I able to really realistically manifest and accept that stuff that was coming in versus being in a fear mode. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have to also just learn to open up. Some women are wanting to learn about this sex magic and don't even know what chakras are. So just learning your energy centers, basically. Also knowing the power of the pussy. I know Reverend Goddess Charmaine loves that word.
Bong.
So honoring that and realizing that those ridges that we have within inside of us, those are meridian points. So fellas, you have to learn that and understand that not just banging, you got to tap it right, because that you do. You have to massage it and tap it right, because number one, that each of those ridges, they're receptors, and that is what helps us open up. Number one. Number two, that also touches on our organs. So some of those ridges affect our organs. So sometimes, ladies, if we're cramping up after we had sex or something, it's something he touched, he tapped. Our chest might be hurting, and we're like, why is my chest hurting? Why is my heart hurting?
Yeah.
It's something that he tapped and he touched, and he may have impacted something or shook something up. So we have to learn our bodies. That's another thing. When we're working with energy and we're working with sex magic, we do have to understand and learn our bodies and learn to communicate, because as women, sometimes we're afraid to communicate with men and say, I like it when you do this, or I'd rather you have sex with me or fuck me like that.
Exactly.
And then there's guys that are not coachable. Some guys feel like because they screwed Jennifer down the street in that aspect, they can come over to you and have sex with you that same way, and your toes are going to curl just like hers. No, your meridian centers, your center points are different than hers. Yeah. All of us is designed differently within our vaginal wall, so our love wall. So we do have to just have that relationship and learn that as well.
I just want to say, y'all need to pass around the proverbial offering plate for this knowledge that Jay just dropped on you fellas exclusively. Before Reverend Goddess Charmaine, I just want to say, I want to sort of expound a little bit on what Jay says. As we get older, we start hearing terms like I'm gonna beat the pussy up. You know
yes,
what I'm saying? I'm smashing it. I made her tap out. First of all, tapping out is MMA fight, not for sexual healing. So and also a lot of times what happens with men is we don't graduate past, I want to say probably ninth grade, maybe 8th grade, far as when it comes to sexually, because we think all that we learn from pornos is the end all be all. We don't think about improving our stroke. We don't think about any way of connecting and taking our time with women. We look forward to be sprinters. We want all to be using the same boats, but nobody wants to be the Kenyan distance runner. You see what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
So that's one of the things I just want to step off a little bit and let the good Reverend Goddess Charmaine jump on in this thing.
Yeah, he asked about how important it is to be in your body, and I think just like you said, 100%. It's an ongoing relationship also, which is why what we increase in the knowledge of our own bodies and what we open ourselves up to also helps us to manifest at greater levels. So, you know, when I first started my path into meditation and healing and tantra, before I could even begin sex magic, you have to first understand, like, do you love your body and can you be in relationship with your body? So I think everyone needs to really recognize, everyone doesn't have to do it how I do it, but I do like to tell you how valuable it is when I first stood naked in the ocean and connecting with the elements. I feel that I can relate to earth, air, fire, water, you know, the full moon, the sun, the earth, vibration and frequency, my inner male. I mean, tapping into who I am as a man, my inner male. Carl Jung talks about your anima and your animus, that if you really want to become whole and be magical and go into your true creative power, which is your God goddess, all of these aspects of yourself is about accepting yourself. So, you know, I accept myself in all ranges of my body, how I feel in my body. I've learned ways to take care of myself, but the only way I can change anything that doesn't serve in my body is to always love myself. And I began that through hypnosis and healing, you know, so it's not just you're going to wake up and say, oh, I love my body so much. I love everything about myself. You know, I didn't always say I had a holy body. So as we're talking about all this and you're hearing us, you say, yes, I want to love myself. I want you to just invite you to stand in front of a mirror naked and look at yourself and say all the things that you love about your body. And the things that you don't love about your body, bring this. If I love this right tit and I don't love the left tit so much, I bring the love I have for the right tit from the right tit over to the left tit, because I do have some issues with my breasts. And I know. You say, no, you are perfect. But I'm telling you, I bring the love all over my body to help myself, because anything I need to change, it has to change from love, not from hate or dislike. Looking at your pussy, looking at your ass, looking at your smell, your taste, all of those things are about self-acceptance, because all of it, as you're adjusting through loving yourself, you use it in your sex magic. Because if I don't really like how my pussy looks, and I'm going to sit on top of a hard cock and generate magic, and I don't want you looking at it and not smelling it, you probably aren't going to be listening to this show anyway.
That's right. Just put your
finger and smell it, taste it. You know, sometimes I'm so funky. The funkier I am, my husband was like, come over here, give me some more of that.
Oh, wow.
That pheromones. Pheromones.
Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. But go ahead, bro.
That's loving your body, you know?
And you know what, Reverend Goddess Charmaine, you know, the more that I talk to women all the time about sex and stuff like that. And, you know, I do find that a lot of women don't truly know themselves sexually. They don't look at their pussy in the mirror. You see what I'm saying? They don't do any of those things. Yes. They don't just sit time and just say, you know what? Girl, you are just beautiful down there. Good gracious. Boy, hey.
You know, I read something that it said something like 40% of women couldn't identify their pussy in the lineup.
Wow.
Like
yeah, I've had a few clients who said they're not looking at themselves in the mirror. I've had a few women that I said, you know, masturbate, watch yourself while you masturbate. And one lady said to me, Jade, I'm not going to be looking at my ugly ass faces while I'm
why
like,
not?
What? Those faces are beautiful. And I guarantee you, he is turned on when he's looking at you, making those faces. So what was that song? Sex Faces or whatever?
Yeah.
That's the reason for it. Is like you get turned on, you're looking, you realize that person is so in tune with you and feeling you at that moment. And that's what turns them on.
I had a great opportunity when I was just turning 40, so 10 years ago, with Betty Dotson. And she asked me to be in her DVD. It's out there. But it was something I was like, whoa, okay. It's called Orgasmic Women, 13 Self-Loving Divas. And I masturbated in this DVD. And I'm one of the 13 self-loving divas. And at the time she asked me, I was like, yeah, I can do this. I never did that before in front of anyone else other than my boyfriend. So I asked my boyfriend, can you go with me so I can do this, so I can look at you? He's like, okay, because he knows I'm goddess. And let me tell you something. When I got there, I was so nervous. I thought, I'm cool. I'm goddess. I can do this. And I took 3 shots of vodka, and we had the whole scene set up. It was like 4.5 hours of them recording me. And it was the most powerful, uplifting thing I have ever done in my life. If you could record yourself masturbating and only just you watch it, you and your partner watch it, it's really, 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 really a fantastic, healing, powerful tool. Really. And so I'm just so grateful to be able to have experienced something like that. And you see how I am. I'm always taking it to another level. I'm always getting opportunities to take it to another level. And that's called sex magic.
Absolutely.
What you need, which align with you.
Yeah.
And
you know what, Jade and Reverend Goddess Charmaine, and I just want to say this to the ladies. Ladies, if you are ashamed and looking at yourself and looking at your faces, how do you think you're going to attract a man who's going to realistically embrace that? Absolutely. And another thing, stop having sex in the damn dark all the damn time.
You know what? And that's where this sex magic is beautiful for people, because that a lot of times that having sex in the dark is actually from sexual trauma that women had when they were younger. A lot of times you also have to realize that when we're babies or when we're infants, we touch ourselves down there because we're trying to figure out, what is this?
Yeah.
And we're smacked on the hand and said, no, don't touch that. No, that's a no. So because of that, we actually take that into our teens and our adulthood with us. We harbor that, and we feel like this is a shame. So we cover our faces, we put pillows or the blanket over us because of that shame. So
exactly.
That's a scar. That's
yeah.
Now, but the sex magic will help heal it.
Yes, it will.
Now, when you ladies were here last time, you guys kind of closed with something. You were saying, and I didn't get a really good opportunity to really understand what you guys were talking about. But you were saying that I believe it was like October 26th when you guys were here, and you were saying that coming up, the something about the throat chakras were like the next day or so.
That was the moon phase. That was I had mentioned that because that was the throat chakra. So it was the moon probably back then was within Taurus, I believe, and it was in alignment with the Taurus, and Taurus is really well at that time. It was good for speaking. It was good for just different like communication. And then I also added oral sex as well, because it does deal with, within the moon phase, it deals with also not just the structure of our living, but also like our organs. And so at that time, I believe that's when it dealt with throat and something else within the body, a different organ. And so I said, practice the deep throating at that time. So so when the moon is in a Taurus, that's also great for oral sex, because there's a lot of women who don't do it. There's a lot of women who don't honor the lingam and love the lingam.
Amen. Yes.
Take it in.
It's a travesty. It's a travesty.
Yes.
It's a travesty.
Understand.
Let me tell you, I had a girlfriend of mine. I had her teach me how to deep throat. Okay, that's how serious it is for me. Teaching me how to deep throat. I mean, when you can go to a girlfriend and ask her, can you take? Because I was with her one time. We was doing some stuff with some people.
Word. Did you watch her goddess, Reverend Goddess
Charmaine? I watched her deep throat, and I said,
"Yes,
how do you do that?" She said, "She taught me," and I still have to work on relaxing as deep as I want. But I can do that now. I don't have to rush through it. You don't mind? Take your time.
Yeah. And not like that slow head.
Yeah.
Right. That's what gets him looking like he like, oh shit.
And look, I made Kente smile on that one, Kente.
He almost choked.
Yeah.
That's what's so great about sex magic, because it's really, we're already making magic when we're having sex, because 2 people have found themselves, or 3 people, or 8 people, whatever you're trying to do. You know, just having the consciousness and setting the intention is really where you make miracles happen. And we change the whole nature of the negativity of sex and taboo sex into sacred sex and manifestation and sex magic and power. So, you know, we're laughing, we're having so much fun with it, because the pleasure is also, the pleasure has a higher purpose. Thou shalt, you know, there's the 11th commandment, thou shalt have purpose. And our bodies have a higher purpose with our sexual energy. So, you know,
absolutely.
The 2-minute sex that I have, oh Lord, to the 20-minute, 40-minute, hour ritual that we do, we're always making miracles happen with our body. I don't know how to turn this phone off. I'm sorry, y'all.
Airplane mode.
Now you
landline.
Now you got to turn. What was it? It was lingam, I believe.
Lingam.
Yeah,
the penis.
Sanskrit word for people. The Sanskrit.
The cock.
Gonna cut out.
And the vaginal is the yoni, the pussy.
Hey Steve, I just got your message a few minutes ago. I apologize. I've been busy.
Uh oh. He wants some sex magic. Trying to get some magic. He trying to get. Hey, Reverend Goddess Charmaine. He trying to get anointed with them oils.
Listen.
Oh man, I had to answer the phone and hang it up. That's so rude.
Now I know why Kente wanted us to be on the video live.
There's some magic happening. What is the intention for tonight? To teach people sex magic, but also that we may all be blessed by our connection together. And then as people going forward, seeing this video, even this show, even after it's archived, may you be blessed 1 millionfold in all that you're doing, you know, because everyone's going to be aroused and they're all excited hearing us and seeing us together. We're having our group orgy right now. So maybe just that's the intention and then lift us all up. So everything that we
absolutely,
amen.
See that blessing, you know.
Yes,
absolutely.
Now you mentioned a church, a naked church. Explain for those.
My naked church.
Yes,
Reverend
Goddess.
Explain. We have service this Sunday, December 20th, from 2 to 4 in New York City. We're having our clothing optional winter solstice service. So we started. I started 2008 with Isis Phoenix, and we started having naked church. Well, we call it naked church to get people's attention. It's really clothing optional, and people can decide on how much clothes they actually want to remove. But 90% of everyone gets naked, or they wear a sarong or something. And it's just a glorious way to celebrate, to be sky clad, to hear a message. I mean, I give a message like all ministers do about the holy body and magic and goddess and philosophy and things like that. We do a ritual. And this naked church service, because of the winter solstice, I'm asking people to bring their drums. My husband's going to bring his drum. Other people will have rattles, and we'll be dancing and chanting and just really getting into the spirit in our holy bodies. And naked church is just an opportunity for people to go into a sacred spiritual space and be naked and to feel blessed, to feel beautiful, to get the information of God, goddess, you know.
Absolutely.
Reverend Goddess Charmaine, Maisha Hudson in the chat room, she says, where in New York City is this naked church?
This Sunday, we're going to be at Buddha Body Yoga, and it's I'm on Facebook. It's a public event. If they go there and look on December 20th, but it's Buddha Body Yoga. It's 28 West 29th Street, Suite 302 within New York, between Broadway and 7th Avenue. But it's Buddha Body Yoga. It's a studio. I also have my second Sunday services there, every second Sunday of the month, as well as Naked Church. And Naked Church happens seasonal. Like every season, we do one service. And so it's this Sunday from 2 to 4. And I ask $20 a person, bring a towel, bring an instrument, and let's get naked and party.
Mr. Magic, he didn't say naked church, he said naked church.
Naked.
Yeah, naked. You know, I'm from the South, buddy. I'm from the South, man.
Naked church.
Naked, that's right.
Please tell me it's a naked choir. That's naked church.
Yeah.
Well, people have been asking me about that, and but no, we do sing though.
Okay. Oh man, that'd be it.
If you came to Naked Church, I had to explain to my husband. He first started going with me when we met back in the day. There are things that I do in Naked Church. Now, you may be surprised. Well, you won't be surprised with me, but you may be surprised that sometimes people just don't listen while you're talking to them. They're looking around and they're doing this and that. And I told my husband, listen, hon.
Because they busy looking at all them naked people.
Sometimes they just
I be doing.
Yeah, me too. I'll be like, hey.
Get that naked Holy Ghost.
Looking around up in the ceiling, whatever. And I always tell my husband, when you see me spread my legs, that's for a purpose.
Good gracious.
Get your attention back where it's supposed to be on me. So see the message.
Right.
I'll be talking and they'll be looking around and I'll open up my leg and then I'll start. Then I'll say,
everybody
say,
be like,
"Oh, I got your attention."
Yeah, they're all looking around like, yeah, this is a naked church. Yeah.
Focus on the message that Reverend Goddess is giving. So I do certain things to get their attention.
Absolutely.
Or I'll get up and I'll just do a little bit of, let me see. I'm like, oh, what?
Huh?
And then they'll turn around and pay attention. So I explain to my husband, when you see me do that, I'm just doing it for a moment to get their attention so they can refocus and receive the message. He said, okay. Yeah, I got that. So,
that's one church I would not fall asleep in. That's
me either. Hey, look. Hey, Kente, look. I will be a regular parishioner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For real.
They are. But it's fun, but it is also true because sexual energy or nudity is powerful. And when people are transparent and they're sharing their bodies in an environment that they can feel safe in to really express themselves, and we dance, we sing, I give a message, people are playing music, they get hot and they get excited. It's just really a powerful experience. And I have my, since I've been doing it for so long, I have my little tricks of the trade to keep it going. The way if you were in a regular church and you're clothed and dressed, what does the minister start saying to get everybody's attention? He may start screaming louder. He may start shouting in the Holy Spirit. He may start doing something to get you to look and listen and pay attention so he can keep your attention. I just got to pussy in the sky. That's all it does.
Oh, wow.
That'll do. Now, let me ask you.
What happened?
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Magic.
Yes, sir.
Were you ever single while you were doing sex magic, or since you've been with the lady you're with now?
No. I wasn't single at all. No, it was something that when I started. Well, you know what? Maybe when I first started doing some sex magic, I wasn't, without me knowing what it was. Mm-hmm. Because one of my lovers, when Coach Khayr first, we talked about sex magic, I was involved with someone where we weren't in a committed relationship. That was one of my soulmates. So we were manifesting and working and stuff. But my queen and I, when we got together and we both, she got a reading from Coach Khayr. He started telling her about sex magic, and she had a chance to listen to my radio show, and we were talking about it more. He told her that she could easily manifest stuff through sex magic. So it's something that she and I, we worked on together, and when I manifested my, the vehicle that I had wanted for like 3 years, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, and I was telling her the other night, I was like, what? I was like, we need to go ahead and make some magic happen. Really do. I mean, it's time.
Well, the question I was going to ask you is, okay, as a brother who practices it, when you hook up with somebody and they don't, how do you suggest somebody kind of get them, involved in how do you bring it to them? Somebody who doesn't know, or do you?
What generally the women, the women that I attract are already into sensual sexuality already. You see what I'm saying? So anybody else, we don't really vibe on the right vibration. So it's one of them things. Hey, how you doing? You look, ass is nice or whatever, but I'm good. You know what I mean? But those queens and goddesses who are into sacred sexuality. Mm-hmm.
So you're saying you shouldn't try to flip them?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not looking to flip. You know what I mean? It depends on the person and the connection I have with. But just for me, just for me to determine that I attract are already into sacred sexuality already.
Uninitiated, I mean, that could really blow them away, right?
It could, and but as we talked about earlier, they have to be open to it. You see what I'm saying? They have to be open to it. Don't look at it as any kind of spookism or anything like that. They have to be like, hey, you know what? Let me see how this works. You know what I mean? Let me be cool with it. You know, if they aren't open to it, then it's not going to work, honestly.
Because I remember Charmaine, didn't you say a guy you broke it off on? He went crazy or something afterwards. Like it was too much for him or something like that.
Well, that was the one the relationship ended.
Yeah, she took it to that naked church. She took it to that naked church and spread it for him. You know, with the holy light.
I don't do sex magic with all the guys that I date, but the ones that I select and I do it with, that one guy, he was just a lover, and then I want to take it to another level, and that relationship ended. But there is thinking about how to bring a person into it, and when I get a sense of whether I should invite someone into it, which I thought this particular person could handle, when I'm going out with guys that aren't really into it, but you pick up guys everywhere you go, so I tell them I'm goddess and what I do, and how I first bring in the consciousness is when we have sex, I'll ask them afterwards, can I bless their seed? Can I bless their gift? And that's the first introduction they're getting, like something else is going on here. And so they come in the condom because I can't have straight sex with them unless we get tested. So when they come in the condom, I'll just lay my hands over them and I say, great goddess, please receive this gift. Blessed is your gift, or I honor your gift. And every single time I've ever done that with every single man, right after I bless it, they lay there and they look at it and they're like, now it has transformed. I'm like, well, what do I do with this? I don't want to just flush it down the toilet. I said, no, it's okay now. We received the gift of your seed. And that gets them into like, that felt good. And then with that, I would see if I'm going to invite them into doing a sex ritual. But that's the beginning stages. If I'm with a straight person and I want to kind of introduce them into sex magic or sacred sex, I would, sacred sex does not always include sex magic. So I'm clear with that. Sacred sex is just honoring the seed, honoring the body. I have to do that in my own sex. Even if I'm having so-called straight sex, I have to bless the man's body. I just have to. I can't fuck a guy unless I'm anointing their body. And they'll let me give them a 5-4 kiss to get some pussy anyway. So they're like, whatever you say. Sure. So I do the 5-fold kiss and I bless the seed after. And that's all I do with regular people. But I have to do it because I'm convicted about my own spirit and my own body that if I'm choosing to have sex with them, I need to bring that consciousness with me.
Oh, Reverend Goddess Charmaine, you said the 5-fold kiss?
Yeah, it's a body anointing that I teach and I do. And it's you can see it on my Vimeo videos, you can see it on my YouTube videos, but I can just do it real quick now. You stand and you start off with kissing your fingers. And you bend down, you say, blessed are thy feet. You touch your feet. Blessed is thy sex. Blessed are thy knees. Blessed is thy sex. Blessed is thy heart. Blessed are thy lips. To the partner, you do it to them, and you bend down, you kiss your fingers, and you touch their feet. So I do it to them, saying, blessed are thy feet. And each time you kiss, blessed are thy knees. Blessed is thy sex. Blessed is thy heart, and blessed are thy lips. And that's a body anointing. And I've been doing that for years, and I teach it. When I was initiated as goddess in 2000, that was crowned on my body. And that's part of it. Now listen, you can take that 5-fold kiss and you can go off with it. You can suck those toes, you can lick those knees front and back, you can suck that link, you can go from to triple X and anoint. So when we do the 5-fold kiss, that's part of the ritual. We spend about a good 5-10 minutes on each part of the body. So
I bet. Good gracious.
So that's the 5-fold kiss. He's just looking.
No, I'm looking for Jade, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
There she is.
Here we go.
All right, I don't know what happened, but someone said refresh. How do you refresh on iPhones?
I don't even know.
Probably hit the backspace button and come back. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mindful learning more. All right.
Me too, Kid Ted. I just learned something valuable. The five-fold kiss.
Yes.
So much.
Yes. She actually has me doing that. I don't do it verbatim of how she does it, but just the structure.
Yeah.
I do that as well.
Now let me ask.
And it's just honoring.
Let me ask y'all the question.
I love it. It elevates during that, and just the look on his face when I do that is just a plus. It's just an added bonus.
So when you are spending time down at the feet, he can't have no crusty feet, can he?
You can't have no crusty feet. No.
Okay.
I'm just going to touch and keep on going.
Yeah. None of them foot fungus or yellow toenails or black toenails, right? Huh?
I had a holy body puja last weekend, clothing optional, but everyone was naked, and I taught them the fivefold kiss, and it was very nice.
That's wonderful.
Well, everyone doing it to each other.
Yeah.
So one time, I'm sorry, last time you were here, you were talking about multiple day rituals, and you were talking about how I believe it was like sometimes you like the first day to be more people get to know each other or whatever, and then eventually the sex part will come in.
You talk about group orgy?
Yes.
Oh yes, thank you. I have a dream that I don't know when it will happen, but I would love to have a sacred orgy. And I have a vision of to raise the frequency. People would need to fast together. You know, we kind of live together for the weekend and take a couple of days to cleanse ourselves, to fast, to massage, to have some intimacy rituals before we get to the sex. And that's just my dream of how a sex ritual, a group orgy should happen. And I don't know like how it's going to happen, for how I see it, because I don't believe that we should have to use condoms. So people don't want to hear that they have to take a blood test or get tested for everybody's clean and everything. But I can't. So if I'm involved in a sacred orgy, that's what I would want for every man and woman to be tested, and then we can come together in a house for a weekend at minimum to get ready to do something like that, and then we spend the rest of the week or days and days just having sex, everywhere, having that group intention to save the world is really what I'm talking about. But I don't know. I tried it one time and it didn't go well. I canceled the whole thing. And so I just talk about it and I share it. Maybe just in sharing it, we'll get like-minded people together that are ready to discipline themselves, something like that.
What was the problem?
Huh?
What was the problem? Why it didn't go well?
Well, the last time, what started happening was one couple got into an argument because for some reason the girlfriend went to ask the boyfriend something about, is he looking forward to having sex with me? He said yes. So then they got into an argument about it. And then she called me to tell me this. I said, we're canceling it. Oh, no, we can work it out. I said, no, this is about everyone. It's not about one person. So it's not about, I want to do this to be with Reverend Goddess, because no woman is going to, if you have to ask your man if he's thinking about having sex with someone else, jealousy and ego, there's no ego in this.
That's right.
So,
Absolutely.
So I don't want anything like that. And I have never, and I don't want that going on to me either. We sisters need to come together and honor each other and respect each other. I feel men are better at being in brotherhood, but women need to really heal their sisterhood and separation from each other to be able to have multiple sex. And so that's my husband. I'm on video. Oh.
Yeah, someone said, Maisha said, there's no jealousy in sacred sex. And that is absolutely true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I don't know I don't know about that really happening in the future, but I hope so. I mean, I'm developing really close relationships with people, and we're having small encounters. But what I'm talking about is something really big. And I feel like we could really save the planet. But, they tell me you got a Messiah complex. Okay. It's in my pussy then.
Hey, let me tell you, I would love to come up in New York to participate in that.
Yeah, I think it'd be a really great thing for all of us to do. Sex is so powerful, and spirituality and consciousness and our holy bodies, we need it all. So, but, we need that kind of cleansing as well, and that sisterhood, brotherhood, so.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah, that water got to you, Kente.
No, somebody
that
H2O. He's still thinking about that fivefold kiss.
That fivefold, yes.
That. I'm gonna save that part of the show specifically. Now, Dream says y'all setting it up, huh?
We setting it up, Dream. We setting it up.
Fine.
Are you in the New York area, Dream? Let's see. Let me give it a shout out.
Oh, let
me do a real quick chat room shout out while it's on my mind. We have in the chat room, we have Alex, Rachel, Dante.
All right.
Dark Ebony Mocha, Eric. We have Fata Wolf, Lauren. We have Dream. We have Brooklyn. Captain Olaf Barbosa, of course. Solutions Turk. Carol Smith Ray. And we have Tesha, Sunflower, Larissa, and Mr. Jones. For and spending this Monday night with us. So, okay, take us through a ritual. For those who never participated in one, is there candles? Is it dim light?
Well, you know what, Kente. Here's the thing: for the subconscious mind, you're performing a ritual, even unknowingly. And I say that because when you, and this is setting up the scene. This is what I call setting up the ritual, the circle, the scene for the ritual to happen. But when you're sitting up there and you're taking rose petals from the front door to the bedroom, when you're sitting up there and you have that soft sensual music that's going to elevate that energy, when you're utilizing those candles, and subconsciously we're lighting up red and pink candles. So you're doing that for red is for passion. So you're already setting the scene for that sexual energy to take place, for that sexual ritual to take place. So that's the alignment for the actual ritual to take place. So I don't know if anyone wants to piggyback off of me, but a lot of times people are asking, how do I perform the ritual? How do I actually do the ritual? And unknowingly, they're already doing it from the scene, from setting up the sacred scene, the sacred sexual scene.
When I first started doing sex magic on my own, I would buy flowers, put them on my altar, light candles. I would have holy water on the altar, and I would have fruit and wine. And I would start off with doing a goddess communion. And a goddess communion is eating the fruit as my body to your body to the goddess body. And drinking the wine is my mind to your mind to the goddess mind. Then I would touch myself in like a feather tip touch to just kind of feel the sensation of my own touch and go through my whole body. Then I would anoint my body with the fivefold kiss. And then I would dance to some music and feel really good. And I'm doing all this naked. So that part is probably should be assumed I'm already naked. Then I self-love. And I masturbate and I breathe and I feel good in my body as I'm touching myself. And then I get to the point where I feel like I'm going to come, and I stop. And I bring the sensation to come. I let it go. And then I go up again, because each time you stop and start, you build intensity when you get closer to orgasm. So I'll do that like 3 times. And then once I have my orgasm, I bring in my vision of what it is I want to manifest, which I already know. I probably already have written it down. So when I'm in my orgasmic bubble, which lasts about 11 minutes, I am thinking of the intention of what I want to manifest. I'm visualizing and I'm saying it in my mind over and over again, feeling really good in that orgasmic bubble. And then after that, I'm done. I may do one more dance and feel really good about it, and then I go on about my business. Every time I light candles, I let those candles burn all the way out to complete my ritual. And that's how I start off doing sex magic.
Interesting. Now, also, too, for those who may not know, you have a Vimeo page.
Yeah.
You have some on the Vimeo page.
Yeah, Reverend Goddess Charmaine on Vimeo, and also on YouTube too, Sensuous Mystic. But my Vimeo is about much more explicit in getting into ritual and consciousness of sex magic or uniting sex and spirit. So yes, and you can find a lot of rituals there that I do and help yourself.
Now, Jade wanted to bring up something about opening up into the potential of sex.
Oh no, what was his name, brother? Lord, huh?
MrMajic.
MrMajic, brother Magic, and that name is so fitting for what we're discussing. But he had brought up something that I wanted to kind of touch on, and I was just piggybacking off of what he was saying. Was we talk about, I wanted to talk about opening up because he had mentioned something. I don't know how he said it, but that caused me to kind of want to mention it. But here's what happens to the body. A lot of times, and men become fearful of this. So I just wanted to throw this out here because there are a lot of times where men becomes fearful of this part right here, is that they will have sex in a physical with a woman. And when I discuss sex magic, a lot of times I'm talking about sex magic in a non-physical form. And although you can do it in a physical form as well. But men will have sex with women in a physical, and she will start to cry. She's opening up. Her sex centers and everything is opening up. And a lot of times she's not aware of what's happening to her. She doesn't realize what's going on. She doesn't know what's going on, but she starts to have sharp feelings for that man because that is the man who's opening her up. And he will get scared. He will think this bitch is crazy and he wants to run. Let's be real. That's what ended up happening. Fellas, the reason I wanted to throw it out there, and Brother Magic has said something that encouraged me to kind of throw that out there, is that you become scared and you're like, I need to leave this situation because she's crying. She cried when I fucked her. I don't know what the hell is wrong with this girl. She crazy. No, you opened her up energetically in a way that you started to cleanse her. You helped that cleanse start to process and start to happen. And she doesn't even know what's happening because it's so much emotions, it's so many energy and frequencies is going within her that she doesn't realize what's happening to her. And so earlier we just touched on just a little bit about sexual trauma, but a lot of times this sometimes happens because of sexual trauma. And now, things are starting to surface and she doesn't realize what's happening, but he has opened her up. Don't be afraid of that, brothers. Don't be afraid of that. Love her. When she starts to cry, embrace it. Embrace her. Yeah. Allow it to happen. Allow it to take form. And that's when you can start to really create and manifest magic and allow it to happen. Because once she starts to cleanse, then she can really start to create as well. So, I just wanted to throw that out there because Brother Magic has said something that encouraged me to kind of get that out there real quick. And we didn't touch on Reverend Goddess. We didn't touch on I wanted to get into something a little deep, but I don't know. We getting ready to close it out, so let it.
There is something I do want to. This might be on the same page of what you're saying. One thing that we did talk about on the close was that of the last show was that you don't have to touch somebody to do sex magic, and I believe it was
You don't. And well, Alan Curry was really touching on the voice of it, the vocalness of it, and making love to her mind, and that's where he's really, really, truly gifted on. But you know, a lot of times when we talk about sex magic, we're directing someone to have sex in a physical as well, and to learn the holdbacks and how to hold back your ejaculation rather, so that you can start to manifest, and so you can become at your highest level of frequency. But you don't have to physically have sex, and that's what I love about Tantra, that it shows you about the touching, the massaging, and the creative way that you can really bring forth that energy without having sex in a physical. I had a gentleman on my show a while back, and he's a frequent visitor on my show. And I will tell you, a lot of people thought that show was scripted. That shit was not scripted. That brother touched me in a way that made me feel like, oh my God, am I cheating on my husband? Because I started to feel that orgasmic energy rise. And his ass was like, I'm in Maryland. He was, I want to say that he was in Illinois or something, but he was far away from me, from the point where it's like, it's not no way that this, but the connection was there and the frequency was there. And that is the part that I try to educate, that you don't have to have sex in a physical to have that connection with someone. So, you can manifest and allow to propel that energy out and to embrace that energy within, and allow that frequency to have it. And you can have that full body orgasmic experience doing that. So it doesn't have to be physical contact. You don't have to have vaginal penetration in order for it to happen.
I think that is if you're not having tactile sex, genital sex, in order to have sex magic occur through non-touch, you have to have a strong ability to intensify your energy. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. They don't know how to radiate energy beyond 3 feet out of their body. So if they're into active meditation and doing some kind of exercises on their own, then you can have sex magic without touching another person's body, because you can merge with them. Because everyone's merging with someone. I mean, I had that experience as well. I mean, but with the guy and I, we were in agreement. Can I meet you tonight in his sleeping contemplation for sex magic? And I said, sure.
Right.
So we set that agreement for our time to go to bed at the same time and to set this intention. And in my own sleep, not even masturbating, but in my own sleep, I met him in the other world, and when we were together, and we created that magic. But I think people need to realize that we talk a lot of stuff, but people say, well, why I'm doing sex magic and it's not working. And I think it's important for us to really understand what I'm saying about raising your frequency and intensifying your energy. And that's why the heat and the passion of sex, the blood being engorged in your pussy and in your cock, the dripping of the fluids are very, very important for intensification. Tactile, I'm here. So when you're bringing your consciousness to it, you are going to be manifesting in physical form. And it must demonstrate itself in your life to have that happen. If we're doing it without actually touching another person, you need to have done the discipline and the work within yourself so that you can radiate your frequency out further to intend to be one with another person. And you can do that. It's just that people are naturally doing it without the exercise, because you can walk down the street and see someone and catch that glance of their eye, and you got like, bang, that gene just hit me. And so people are strong like that without knowing it. But, you know, what you do with it as far as manifesting is another thing altogether. I just wanted to address that too.
Absolutely. That is a factor in it. So, yeah.
Jade totally read my mind, because when Charmaine was talking about the fluids, my next question was going to be about using the fluids. So I'm gonna let
No, that's what was funny, because earlier I said, you know, me and Reverend Goddess didn't really dig deep in this as far as the power in it as well. You know, we're talking about energy, and that's strong in itself. Yes, that is. But when you're doing sex rituals and you're doing sex magic and you're manifesting stuff and you're performing with that sex magic, you're performing a ritual or a magical, like money magic or something that you're doing in addition to that sex magic. The fluids are very powerful. Your sex fluids are so powerful. So if there are people on here who's listening in who does magic but haven't done sex magic, it's so powerful. Listen, and I'm putting it out there. I put it on my candles. I will use it in our sex rituals when we're having sex. Reverend Goddess, I know you can touch on it because I remember you talking about anointing your partner and your partner anointing you. But there's so much things that you can do with that. And you can utilize that on your magical tools. You can, and I just had to throw that out there real quick because I know there's some people who do actual rituals, but when you're, especially when you're doing it on the moon, because someone had just mentioned the new moon and different things like that, and putting your utilizing that fluid and that energy, yes, and you can. So your magical tools that you have on your altar, you can charge your tools with your fluids. You can use it on your sex or love candles. You can use it in your love oils. I have an attractant oil, and I will use mine and my husband's fluids for that. So it's so many things that you can do with your sex fluids, and it's so powerful. So adding that with your sex magic is very it's just potent. It has a lot of potency to it. So I didn't know if Reverend Goddess wanted to touch on that, but we had fun with that conversation before as well. So yes.
Back in the day, before I'm in this marriage, my marriage, and we can do anything together, you know, and we use our fluids. But before, when I wasn't in a primary relationship with anyone, and I'm trying to get the guys I'm hanging out with to give me some semen that I can put on my altar. Now that's a strange conversation. You know, I'm like, can I keep some of your semen and put it on my altar for sex magic? They're like, what are you gonna do? You know, they think I'm gonna do some voodoo on them.
Yes, yes.
No. I just need your yang, your seed, to continue to manifest that. We're together, so only 2 guys said yes, and let me not to.
When my husband first realized what I was doing, before he even realized what I was doing, I had spit. I had gave him oral pleasure, and I had spit the semen in a cup, and I put the cup on my nightstand, and I remember him saying, "Yo, what you doing?" Because normally I would hold it in my mouth if I didn't swallow, and I'd take it to the toilet and just spit it out. So he's like, "Whoa, what you get ready to go in there and do some of that?" And and I'm laughing, and I'm like, I'm using mine too, so calm down, So he was worried for a minute, but he always respects what I do. It was just when I did that and he realized she getting ready to save my shit. What's getting ready to happen here? So, just talking to your partner and y'all just becoming in alignment with it and understanding. But when he first realized that this is what I was doing, he was a little like taken back. But then he understood,
My husband didn't have any problem giving me his seed, but what he was really tripping on when I had to do the first ritual with me was the blood ritual. I asked, my monthly came on the full moon. Can we do a blood sex ritual tonight? And he was
I was getting ready to go there. I was going to go there.
Sure, because he was like, okay. And he did not expect me to come over and bring my blood in a container. Wow. I came in,
wow.
and built an altar, and I put the fruit and the wine and flowers there, and I took my blood and I took it out of the contact lens case, and I poured it. And he looked at me like, he says, "This isn't really happening, is it?" He said, all in his mind, he was like, "What?" And he did the ritual with me. He did it. And he's like, oh, he said yes. So this was like 2 weeks after we were together, and he said yes. And we did that ritual, and it was amazing. And we still hadn't had sex yet. You know, so when we did that ritual that night, we actually, in that particular ritual, we didn't have sex. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning when the moon was out completely bright. Then we had sex. But
now,
he was really like shocked.
Now we have a question from Eric.
Okay.
And we'll to Mr. Magic. Eric wants to know, if someone is totally new at this, what practical things can someone do to start on their path?
I would start off with first seeing if they have an altar built at home, just a basic altar with a candle and maybe 2 glasses of water or 1 glass of water, a piece of paper where they would write down their intent. And then starting off with breathing and visualizing the chakras. I would add the 5-fold kiss and then self-love. And then when they, if they can start to the heart, that would be great. But if not, just ejaculate and lay there in your orgasmic bubble, and then visualizing your intention that's on a piece of paper by reading it out loud and visualizing what it is that you have written, and leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Magic, you have anything to add to that?
Well, first of all, what I would do some exercise, some self work on some self work first. Put in that self work. What are the things that you want for yourself to become better? Because you can until you're clear about what it is that you want for you, then you can't truly be clear about what it is that you want to attract. So I would definitely start with self first. Do some little things on how you can become better for yourself. Then once you start doing that, now you can start doing some of those rituals, because you just can't jump into the ocean, into the deep end. You know what I mean? When you only learn when you can only stand in the 2 foot. You can't just jump off the high diving board and be like, hey, just because I can just put my feet in the water, you can't handle that 12 foot.
Wait. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm not going to tell you what they just said in the chat. But, okay. So, how long?
Yeah, I was just looking at that. And
me too. Wow.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just looking at that. And the thing about it is that I will have to say is that, first of all, and let me respectfully say, this is not for everybody, okay? No. There are people who do sex rituals in different ways. There's a light way in doing it, and then there's just getting in it deep and doing it. So there is a such thing as light magic, light work, and you can perform sex magic in a light working way. So, you are honoring all sorts of things. You are honoring the universe as well. You're honoring your partner. So I see that someone said you're not honoring Christ. Okay, we're just, when you are praying, when you are, and the thing about it is, if you're not into this, why are you in this group? That's the thing that I just don't understand. But let me just really touch on this when we talk about, because we didn't get into the word spell. We didn't get into spell. But when you're praying, when you're chanting, when you're doing a sex magic, sex ritual, when you're doing Buddhism, you are doing a spell. So even if you're praying and you are of a religious background, it's a spell. You're putting it out into the universe. It's an intention. So regardless of how we put it in the word that we use, it's actually defined in the same way. So unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times, like we were talking earlier, is that because of the conditioning that we have had through religion, We look at things that are like this as spookism, as adult, as oh my God, that's against something. I mean, what would Christ do? What Jesus might be up in there with Mary Magdalene, you know what I mean? Doing a little something. Why not?
Well, you know what's sad about it is if you really want to get deep into it, and I don't, because I don't like discussing I don't like discussing politics, and I don't like discussing religion. Exactly. But if you do want to dig deep in it, there's magic in the Bible. Yeah. So why do people go there and be so closed-minded? So it's like we have to be open-minded and really dig deep. Exactly. And dig deeper than the Bible in order to understand the history of it all. So just throwing that out there as well.
Exactly.
Another thing too I want to get to before we say goodbye. What about like your family and friends and stuff who are not initiated or do they understand? Do they have a hard time understanding? Would that be real crazy trying to explain it?
Yeah.
I will tell you, for me, I will share this real quick. I was born Catholic. So I was raised Catholic, and I had an aunt I'm from Puerto Rico. And so while we practiced the Catholic religion, I did have an aunt that we were shunned from talking to. We could not talk to her. She was shunned from us, rather. And I was just amazed at how powerful she was. And I was amazed at how many people came to her. I was amazed at how many religion backgrounds were knocking at her door when they thought that something was put on them, a spell was put on them, or whatever the case may be. So I kind of dug a little deep to what she was doing after she passed away. I really researched the things that she was doing. And once I started to get into it, my mother, and I recently did something for a family member, probably some years back, before I realized that this was the path that I was going to take. And I will say that my mother was like, you know what, you believe, and this was the person that I really cared about, of who thought what about me. And she said, you believe in a higher power. And that's what's important to me. So you do believe that there's someone higher up there than you, then so be it, I'll let it go. And you do whatever you have to do to protect your family and do what you're doing for family. Because at the time, that's what I started doing. My ritual started for protecting people and helping people with certain things, depending on what it was. And then I started to trickle down to other things. But that was before I ventured into realizing that I was performing sex magic and wanted to dig deeper into that. So family was supportive. My husband and I used to go to church, and he was supportive in whatever it was that I did. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. MrMajic?
Well, a lot of times what I have discovered is, sometimes family, just because of their mindset and their conditioning, they seem to not understand. Some parts of your family will, others won't. But at the end of the day,
right.
What I have discovered is you have to be secure with it and with yourself. And whoever doesn't accept that, that's not really my problem. You know what I mean? That's their problem. For them to deal with.
Absolutely.
So, I stopped living my life for this a long time ago. Once I learned that I had to start, what's the most important thing was I had to start living it and loving it for me first.
Mm-hmm. And last, Goddess, because I wanted to end with you last because I don't know, what were you raised in? What religion were you raised in?
Well, I was, I'm from Jersey. I was raised in Hackensack. My mother was a Jehovah's Witness. My father didn't believe in God. And I got saved when I was 13. And I went through I did go through some spiritual abuse because I was, I've always been Christ conscious, and I'm a slut for God. So I look for anyone that says God is here or there, I'm going. So I always want to experience God, and I've always had the Holy Spirit on me and speaking tongues. But I did not, when I have a gift of interpreting scripture. So when I was in Bible study, I didn't agree with everything that the Bible said, and they said I had a lustful.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the abuse began for me for 3 years in the church. But I lost a lot of friends when I became goddess. They said I wasn't right with the Lord, that I was going to hell, and we're not friends. I've gained so much in friendships that I have, and I have the wisdom and the light within me for who I am. I am meant to be this person, and that's okay that I lost those friends. I don't miss them anymore, but I did then. It does bring up a lot of shame and guilt when you are losing friends, and you do question yourself about, is this right for me? But I tried to live that way. And my ex-husband, my first marriage, he was Catholic. I tried to become a Catholic because I love God. And but I lived the way they told me to. I gained tons of weight. I became a severe alcoholic. I was in an abusive marriage, and I almost died. I was truly in sin at that time. I was not happy where I was. I was living my own life, trying to live like they told me to. And when I took back my power and I was able to lose the weight and get out of that marriage, and I stood naked in the ocean and started my life changed and transformed, and I became goddess. And truth demonstrates itself in my life every day. The people that are in my life accept me for who I am. My mother didn't always get it, and sometimes she still wonders, you get naked where? She still wonders, but she loved her daughter. And my brothers, they laugh at me sometimes, but they don't laugh all the time. They look at what I've manifested in my life and the relationships I have with my people, and I stand in my power. I stand in my body. But I have lost people, you know, and it happens. So, but it is what it is. Truth demonstrates itself in my life every day. I am Reverend Goddess Charmaine. Dismissed it. So it is.
I think that's what tends to happen is people see what you manifest, and then they start to open up and say, it's time to look at this and see what's going on, because this person is bringing a lot from manifesting a lot.
From the time I was initiated in 2000, before then I was also goddess, but I was promised, follow this path, and it gave me the courage. Every year of my life, I was able to elevate my life and my living every single year. It demonstrated everything I did, elevated my money, elevated my lifestyle, elevated the way I could take care of my children. It always does. And when I have challenges and I have struggles, and let me tell you, I've had them, I still get through with the support of people because I'm goddess. And that is my path. I tried that other way. I didn't have a problem with just...
You were goddess before you was initiated.
Of course. But, you know, people need to recognize that. So if someone's going to leave my life, or if something happens and we're no longer together, but they want to, especially if they want to use it, oh, well, you're not right with God anymore, you're going to hell, that's really on them. It's not on me. I don't want to be around that anyway. No, but they're haters.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'd like to thank you great people for coming on the show once again. It was very educational, and I hope that the audience got something out of it as well as I did. I definitely did.
Some of them did.
I believe the vast.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, if people disagree with what you are saying or what your beliefs are, why do they stick around to listen? That's so interesting.
Closet lovers.
And I think, secretly.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been going through that forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people do that all the time. You know what I mean? Like, they just want to, I can't believe you're talking about it. You know, it's like people who say that, you know, porn is wrong, but they still look at porn. Like, what are you talking about? You know, like, get out of here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You know, but you know, that's how it is all the time. You know, you'll find, I know my shows that people will make crazy comments. How could you talk about that? But secretly, you're pulling me aside like, hey, man, you know, tell me some more about that. Like, what? What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, and I agree. Brother Magic. There's people that inbox me privately, and when I get requests to some of my groups, and I look at their profiles, I'm like, I don't know if I want this person in my group, because I see the religion background, I see the kind of people that they have. But then they're inboxing me, and it's like, okay, so this is just someone who's magically on the down low.
not magically on the down low.
Magically, secretly, they are what we call which is called in the broom closet.
Yeah, you know, my mama told me a long time ago. She said, "Son, the biggest freaks up in the church." I said, "Yeah." You know what I mean? And my and my uncle's a pastor. I told him, I said, Uncle Jerome, I said, you got them sisters in the front row with no panties on, fanning their dresses, huh? He said, boy, you a damn fool. I was like, I know.
Deny it though, did he?
He did not deny it.
All right. So I'm going to start off with, and once again, I want to thank everybody who listened in. Definitely to our last show of 2015, but we will be back probably February. So. But I want to start off with Miss Jade. I want to give you an opportunity to once again tell everybody how can they follow you in social media, as well as tell them about your wonderful radio program and any other ways that you know people can contact you.
You know, I wanna interview Brother Magic. So please get me in contact with Brother Magic.
Oh, hey, I stay ready, Jade. see, look, I got my leg cocked up right now, ready.
You have your leg cocked up like Reverend Goddess. You said, look, pay attention. That's right. My leg is up there. Yes, you all can find me on Blog Talk Radio at Erotic Talk Radio. So you can Google Erotic Talk Radio, where we have sensual erotic conversation, and we talk about magic and sex magic and relationship stuff as well. We have a group on Facebook, and that's also called Erotic Talk Radio. So you can follow me there as well. And Facebook, I'm on Jade Torres Bryan, so check me out. And Twitter is Womb Goddess 69.
All right. So, Goddess Charmaine, how can people get you in social media and anything you want to plug?
I'm thesensuousmystic.com, and on my homepage, sign up to be on my email blast. I have a blog talk show as well every Monday night at 8 p.m. Blog Talk, The Sensuous Mystic, and I'm on Facebook. You can Google me and find everything else. Reverend Goddess Charmaine, The Sensuous Mystic. YouTube, Vimeo. But I think most importantly, being on my constant contact. So, thesensuousmystic.com, you'll sign up and then you'll get everything from me. And then I'm reverendgoddess@gmail.com. So make miracles happen that way.
Absolutely.
And when's the next church service? Is that on Sunday?
This Sunday, December 20th, Naked Church from 2 to 4 in Manhattan.
Wow.
That's my birthday, y'all. So.
I'm trying to get her to come to Maryland, DC area, the DMV area.
I'll come. You set it up right. That's like a 3-hour drive. I've been down there before.
There we go.
All right.
Mr. Magic, once again, thank you. This is his first time on the show, and hopefully this is not the last.
Definitely. Got some nice, sexy lips there. Just want to tell you.
Look at him right there.
He's got a nice, sexy voice. That's what I'm
listening. Let me tell you. Hey, man, boy, it's going to y'all got man. Hey, good gracious. Well, you know. Before I'm just happy and grateful for you, Reverend Goddess Charmaine, and you, Jay, just for the compliments. That's such an honor to hear that. So I appreciate that. I don't, I let my
absolutely, brother.
I let my ego go a long time ago, where I could be open to receive all of that incredible, delicious, juicified energy and love that y'all giving me. So. Thank you.
All right. Love it.
How can people get you social media and your show?
My show is on Blog Talk Radio. Right now you can listen to the archives. If you go listen, I think it's Mr. Make It Happen, right, Kente, I think. But it's blogtalkradio.com/Mr. Make It Happen. And you can go listen to the shows. We'll probably be back February, March. Just gotta, just figure some things out. But you can also connect with me on Twitter at Pink Hefts. If y'all want to know about Pink Hefts, go to pinkhefts.com. That is my my all natural sexual enhancement pill for women, not for men. Y'all heard me. I didn't say Viagra for men. I said for women. You know what I mean? Because when the woman is sexually free,
Everything else is
everything else falls into place.
Everything.
That's right.
Everything. And also, I'm on Periscope at Pink Hefts. You want to know how to spell Pink Hefts, just like PinkHeffs. Also, pinkhefts.com. You can also connect with the Pink Hefts page on Facebook. Also, my regular page on Facebook. See Mr. Magic. You spell magic with a J because the J is for Jism. All right. See Mr. Magic Brooks.
Jizzle. Oh.
No, Jism. Like.
All right.
That's right. That's right. So that you crazy, man.
We should have did an open moment with the Pink Hefts. Like, everybody look under their seat. Yeah. Well, we definitely had to talk about that, Kente. You know what I mean? Because one of my great intentions was when I brought that product out for women was I definitely knew that women are having a lot of issues when it comes to sex, but most importantly, mentally, it's very important for women to be able to be focused in the moment sexually. So that once they are incredibly, their orgasms are right, once they're in a great place sexually, it will, a lot of other things will help manifest in their life, and their lovers will just be incredible, loving them even more. All right, I know what to get a special someone for Christmas.
Yes, trust me, brother. Let me tell you. When you up inside and you get some of that cock reflexology we see on that Pink Hefts, you'll thank me for that thing later.
Okay, now.
Man, that's a good one. I never heard that one before. You guys can follow me at Kente F. And also, too, programming note, we do have a show early tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. It's Michael Alberino with the New Country Project. And then on Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, we're going to have the Spotlight year-end special. And the following week, today, we're going to do a review of the new Star Wars film that comes out.
Oh, man, that's going to be ill.
Yeah, so we're gonna review it on the 21st, which is a week from today. So, with all that said, I want to, like I said, thank my panel, thank everybody, and we'll be back next year with an all-new episode of Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus Show.
Oh, man. Hey, Kente, great show, brother.
All right.
Great show.
Thank you.
Great show. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
See ya.
All right.
Good night.
Peace.
God is blessing. Good night.
Peace.
Is it better to be emotional life? What would be the better option?